Hi, it's Tanya D, and yes, I have no makeup on. I had just finished doing my face routine video, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I really wanted to tell this story. I wanted to get the story out there since, I don't know, I want to get the story out there. I have like a list of stories I want to say and tell. Some are too emotional and deep, and right now I'm not at that place. And others are just like, okay, but it's like finding the time, it's just, ugh, I'm scrambled brain. But Dory Stories recently featured her friend Juan. It's JC Productions, JC5 Productions. I'll link both down below, where she featured his story of him talking about sleep paralysis. So I am going to tell you my story, and you can tell me what you believe. Because it's like, was it sleep paralysis or was it something else? And if you want to find out, keep on watching. Okay, so first I want to say, my opinion is my opinion. I'm not saying if you believe something else, you're wrong. I'm not telling you that you don't have the right to believe in something else. Everybody can agree to disagree. I can say what I believe, and it's okay. It's okay if other people say what they believe in. I just know that when certain topics are mentioned, a lot of people go at each other in the comments. They either stop getting followers, or they just get people fighting in the comments with each other, and I don't want that. I'm just saying my truth, my belief, and and you guys can continue to believe what you want to believe. I don't believe in ghosts. I am a Christian, and I know what the Bible has told me, that there's a heaven and hell. There isn't any ghost, that you go to one place right away. There's no sleeping, there's no mellowing, there's no limbo, there's none of that. It doesn't even describe it in the Bible at all. That's it. It's just heaven or hell. And that's what I believe in. And I know a lot of people don't agree with the Bible, but that's okay. I'm not pushing it on you. I'm not saying you must. I'm just saying this is what I believe in. Anyway, now that I said that, I will go on with my sleep paralysis, because it had a lot to do with that. It has a lot to do with what I'm going to talk about. I never heard of sleep paralysis when I have my episodes. I knew nothing of what was going on. This is when my sickness had happened. I was really sick. We still didn't have a reason on why I was sick. So I was always in pain, exhausted, couldn't get sleep. I was stressed, and I had started to have really weird and vivid, like super vivid dreams, like never before. Like I would wake up and I would feel my feet throbbing from all the running I was doing in my dreams, or the walking I was doing in my dreams. I would wake up and I wouldn't be able to move, but that was it. I'd freak out, like, why am I moving? And then I'd go back to bed, and then all of a sudden I was moving again. Well, one episode is I was sleeping, and I heard a noise that kind of made me want to wake up. And then I felt pressure on my bed, and it started on the bottom, and it started moving up. And the way I was laying was here, so it felt like it was kind of going like this. And I thought, well, maybe it was my son and my daughter, maybe one were on each side. That's why I felt pressure. Then I thought, okay, maybe it's just my son, but I'm so tired, I'm feeling like it's on both sides. So, well, then I realized it wasn't my son. I couldn't move, and I was like, what the heck is going on? So I was about to open my eyes. It was dark, really dark. I don't sleep with night lights. I don't sleep with any lights on. And it was really dark. So when I opened my eyes, I really couldn't see anything, but then I saw my white pillow come on top of me. And I heard something like take a deep breath, like, and then put it over my head. And I couldn't breathe. And I was so scared. I thought I was dying. I thought somebody had broke into my house and they were gonna kill me, and I was gonna be just a murder serial killer victim or something, or somebody wanted my children. All these thoughts were playing in my head, and I was so scared to death, and I was like, oh dear God, I am going to die. And so then I started praying. I asked God to forgive me, and I told him, please don't let him get my babies. I was like, God, I need you to protect my babies. I need this person to just get off of me and just do what he needs to do, and then leave my apartment so my babies are safe. And then felt like I was gonna die. I remember I was hearing, like, I felt pulses because I couldn't breathe. And I was just freaking out. I was hearing in my ears. My eyes felt like they were gonna bulge out. I just could not catch a breath. And so then I thought, I hope my babies don't get up. Please, God, don't let my babies get up. And I had said, I plead the blood of Jesus over my babies. Please help. And that's when I felt like I couldn't even breathe anymore. And then I heard, and I threw the pillow off. I was able to move. I threw the pillow off, and I saw this white figure. So I thought it was a shadow. It was like a grayish white, long, like a tall man. And he had the outline of a man, but he was walking funny, kind of with his shoulders hunched, and he took off really quick down my hall. So I had a bat right beside my bed, and I thought, oh my gosh, he's gonna get my babies. So I grabbed the bat and I jumped off the bed, and there was no one around. So I started turning all the freaking lights on. I thought maybe he ran out the door. Did he come in through the window? Where did he come in through? And the door was locked. My windows were locked, and every single window was locked. There was no way he came in. And I was like, what the heck? So I'm crying and screaming. Like, I'm crying hard because I really thought someone had broke in and tried to kill me. So now that everybody was gone, like, I fell to the floor on my knees and just started crying, thinking I almost died, still confused and not realizing that my doors and windows were locked, still believing that the killer ran and took off. So I'm crying and screaming on the floor, and I was like, I gotta call the cops, I gotta call 911, I gotta call somebody because somebody just tried to kill me. And then I heard my kids moving, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's with my kids. So I took off to the back bedroom, and still with the bat in my hand, and nobody was there. They were just moving and rustling in the bed. And then that's when it hit me, like, wait a minute, everything was locked. Everything is locked. There's no one here. What the heck happened? Like, what really happened? So I was freaked out. My heart was racing. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I called my pastor, and I called my pastor's wife, and I was crying to her, speaking to her. So she said, hold on. So she let me talk to the pastor, and we were praying, and I couldn't get a hold of my husband because he was in basic. So I was crying and shaking and upset, and I think it was Friday, so it was Saturday morning, and I was just so we prayed. He prayed with me, and he said, I'll go to your house tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So I put my kids into the bed with me, and the baby, I kind of dragged his crib inside, so all of us, and I locked my bedroom doors, and I put a bar against my window, just in case, because I had no idea how this person, because I still didn't know it was sleep paralysis. I had no idea how this person came into my house. So then the pastor came, and he was just praying throughout the room, and he stopped at the computer. Now at that time, before my brother had lived with me, he was with me for about a month, then he moved out. And he went by the computer and he's like, this is the area of where I feel is like evil. And I hadn't been on my computer in such a long time, because it was one of those old-fashioned computers, and this was before the technology, the awesome cell phones. So I was like, okay, and so we kind of prayed over the computer. I know it sounds ridiculous, but we did. So then I turned it on. And he's like, what do you look up? So I told him. We went under history. And for a while we saw, just like I would watch Christian shows, I would learn activities to do, because I used to be in children's church. I would teach the kids. So there was a lot of those activities up there, and just regular news, and just odd games. And then about the time before my brother left, there was paranormal stuff. And so when we opened it up, it was about paranormal investigations, where to find ghosts, how to call ghosts, so you can have like kind of like a seance, but so that you can track ghosts. He had ordered tracking equipment and stuff because he was really into that. And yeah, my brother was into that. And so he had done all that, and I was like, oh wow. And he was like, see, you open the gateway. And that's what us Christians believe, just like you open a gateway. And even regular people, like I guess normal people too, also believe you can open doors and gateways. And this is what had happened. This is what he believes had happened. So, so that was it, right? So then he prayed over and he left. So I was thinking, well, what else could it be? It has to be something else. Yes, I'm a Christian, but I always have questions. I always believe it's something else, or there could be something else, and there's other reasons, and I just don't take things as they are or face value. I just, I like to look into things. And so I started looking up hallucinations, sleeping, and then, oh my gosh, some scary stuff happened. Like, there's demons that could try to take your breath away, and all this other stuff, and it's the same, and people had seen the same guy over and over again, and it's like, but it was a little person or something, I can't even remember. And then this whole article about sleep paralysis, and as I started reading it, I started to understand, like, oh, okay, you have awful hallucinations, and you can't and breathing, for some reason your breathing stops. So in a lot of sleep paralysis stories, they always have involved, like something involved in breathing. They can't breathe. So I thought this was it. My hallucinations, since I do believe in demonic forces and all that, maybe that's my mind put together that, and this awful. And I watch a lot of horror movies. I watch a lot of thrillers. I watch serial killer stuff. I read stuff about serial killers. I've had like this encyclopedia of serial killers, true stories about serial killers, like all this stuff. I'm into all that stuff and knowing why in the psyche. But anyway, that's a totally different video. So I said, okay, that's it, right? That has to be it. So the next day was church, and I was going to church. It's a small church. People heard. So I was kind of explaining the story, and a girl in the church says, is that how you got those? And I was like, how I got what? Like, what are you talking about? And I had bruises here, big bruises here, and bruises, what looked like 3 fingers. And I wish we had cell phone technology, and I was into Facebook. It was MySpace then, but I had bruises that kind of looked like finger marks. And but they were actually, yeah, it was this way. It was like this. I had finger marks. I had lines, looked like fingers, but from here to here, to here, to here, to here, to here. So this finger was long. Then I'm thinking maybe it was the bars that I have. So I was thinking, I think this is from the bar, because I was putting my hands through bars. The crib. It was the crib. That's right. And I was thinking maybe it's from the crib when I was trying to see if the baby was okay, and I put my hand in there. But then I was thinking, that's not correctly the right position, but oh well, maybe that's it. But I couldn't explain the bruises I had here. I had 2 bruises. I was very sore, and I was thinking it's because my body tensed up in the sleep paralysis, and that was it. So I freaked out. Like, I don't know. I was thinking, was it sleep paralysis or was it something else? Did I make these bruises an accident? Was my arm like this when I was actually sleeping and not down like this? And so I was just trying to justify why I got these bruises because of the sleep paralysis, and not really trying to open myself to any demonic thing trying to come after me, because that's really scary. I'd rather do the sleep paralysis any time of the day. So it's like, what was it? You know, what the bruises, were they coincidence? The bruises from the crib, I know the cribs, you know, are different. Like, you know, that could explain why it was this way and why it was so long. The bruises here, was I sleeping kind of like this, and the sleep paralysis scared me so much that I squeezed really hard. And also, if you see, my fingers are here, and maybe with the crib it just made it seem like it was bigger. Or was it real, something evil trying to get me, you know? And so I've struggled for that for years. Like, what was it? So no matter where I go, a new place or not, I pray. I plead the blood of Jesus on everything, just because it's so scary. So with the sleep paralysis, what helped me is knowledge. Knowing all about it. Knowing what it does to you, that you can't breathe, you see things, you hallucinate, scary things. For some reason, they don't know why, it's always scary. And some people believe it's because when you can't move, you start to pump adrenaline. So the adrenaline is the flight or fight kind of thing. Like, you can't move, so you're freaking out, so it's the flight or flight. And then, so then your mind, because you're kind of in a dreamlike state, because it's sleep paralysis, you think of something, what do you want to run from? The most horrible thing. So then you start to hallucinate scary things and uncomfortable things. And so that's when the sleep paralysis happens. So there's a lot of stories. You could go online and check them out. But once I started to have knowledge of the sleep paralysis, and that I have more control than I think, you know, than people think you do, which is, I had to clear up some room on my memory card, so let me get right through this really quick. So anyway, give me a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe, comment, share, whatever. I know I'm going to get a few thumbs down because of the whole not believing in ghosts thing and my Christian belief and stuff, but that's okay. That's okay, because, well, they're entitled to not like me. They're entitled not to like it, or my opinion. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. And as always, have a blessed day. Bye.